Second.
It's been moved by myself, seconded by Councilwoman June Hamilton Dean. Do we have any questions? Ms. Bell, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Mosley?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Mayor Hicks?
Yes.
3 ayes, 1 nay.
Motion passes. Item 4, presentation of subcommittee reports. We don't have any. Item 5, resolution approving the motor fuel tax plan for 2017. Do we have that here? It's
Mayor,
not here.
if I may, we had a meeting with the Public Works Director this morning. We're gonna be making some addendums to the motor fuel tax budget, so we look to bring that from the floor next week.
Okay. Item 6, presentation of correspondence and memorandum. We don't have any. Item 7, old business. Do we have any old business under Public Works? Item 8, any new business under Public Works? Item 9, citizens' comments under Public Works. Item 10, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the Public Works. So moved. Please call the roll.
Councilman Mosley?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Mayor Hicks?
Yes.
3 ayes, 1 nay.
Meeting adjourned. At this time, Finance Chair, Councilwoman June Hamilton, Finance Committee.
Ms. Bell, please call the roll to establish a quorum for the Finance Committee.
Councilman Dean?
Yes. Present.
Councilman Eastern? Councilman Eastern? Councilman Greenwood? Councilman Greenwood? Councilman Mosley?
Present.
Mayor Hicks?
Present.
We have 3 present, 2 absent.
Item 2, presentation of the minutes from the meeting held on Thursday, October 6, 2016. I'd like a motion to approve the minutes from October 16.
Second.
Ms. Bell, please call the roll.
Councilman Dean? Councilman Mosley?
Yes.
Mayor Hicks?
Yes.
3 ayes, 1 nay.
Motion passes.
Items 3, presentation of departmental report. Item 3A, monthly report from the city treasurer. Item 3B, monthly reports from the finance department. Item 3C, monthly report from the budget department. And item 3D, monthly report from the purchasing department. I'd like to make a motion to approve items 3A, B, C, and D.
Second.
Ms. Bell, please call the roll.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Mosley?
Yes.
Mayor Hicks?
Yes.
3 ayes, 1 nay.
Motion passes.
Item 4, presentation of subcommittee reports. There are none. Item 5, presentation of ordinance and resolutions. There are none. Item 6, presentation of correspondence and memorandum. There are none. Item 7, old business. Is there any old business? Item 8, new business. New business. Number 9, citizen comments. There are none. Item 10, I'd like to make a motion to move for adjournment.
Second.
Ms. Bell, please call the roll.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Mosley?
Yes.
Mayor Hicks?
Yes.
3 ayes, 1 nay.
Finance Committee meeting is adjourned. In the absence of Councilwoman LaToya Greenwood, I will chair the Public Safety Committee meeting. Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Greenwood? Councilman Greenwood? Councilman Greenwood? Councilman Mosley?
Present.
Councilman Dean?
Present.
Councilman Eastern? Councilman Eastern? Mayor Hicks?
Present.
We have 3 present, 2 absent.
Item 2, presentation of the minutes from the meeting held on Thursday, October 6, 2016. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Been moved by myself, seconded by Councilwoman June Hamilton Dean. Do we have any questions? Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Mosley?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Mayor Hicks?
Yes.
3 ayes, 1 nay.
Motion passes. Item 3, presentation of departmental reports. I'd like to make a motion to receive items 3A, the regulatory affairs business license applications. Item 3B, regulatory affairs monthly report. Item 3C, monthly report from the St. Louis Fire Department. Item 3E, the monthly report from the East St. Louis Police Department. And item E, monthly report from the East St. Louis ESDA Department. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by myself, seconded by Councilwoman Joe Dean to receive items 3A, B, C, D, and E. Do we have any questions?
No, Mayor, the only thing that I would like to point out as far as the business license application, they're subject to final approval by the Regulatory Affairs Director of Final Inspections.
Okay, so will that be completed by next week?
We'll check with the, we'll check with the Regulatory Affairs Director as far as the businesses are concerned, but if not, even if council passes the applications, they will not get the business license until all final approval is given.
Okay. Madam Clerk, Ms. Bell, sorry, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Mosley,
Yes.
Councilman Dean,
Yes.
Mayor Hicks,
Yes.
3 yeas, 2 nays.
Motion passes. Item 4, presentation of subcommittee reports, we don't have any. Item 5, presentation of ordinances and resolutions, we don't have any.
Mayor, may we have something here?
Sure.
I would like to add as 5A if possible, an ordinance for the mayor and city council to approve the purchase of labor and materials for the installation of a 3-phase 48277 panel board with 24 with 200 amp 3-phase breaker. Also the installation of a 330 kVA transformer to power existing 200 amp single phase 42 space panel. I would like the fire chief to come up and explain to council exactly why this legislation is here.
Actually, the legislation came forward. We need a compressor to fill out our air bottles that we wear when we go into fire. Our compressor has been out for maybe over a year, and we have to take our bottles to other municipalities to have them filled. And so we have come over with an agreement with the city of Washington Park that they will allow us to use their compressor, so more communities can use this compressor system. It will be installed at 7206 State Street, and we will use it in conjunction, but we have to have a 3-phase system set up to be able to use the compressor. Currently, we don't have that system set up at 7206 State. So that's the purpose. If we get it changed over, we can get the compressor from Washington Park, and both communities will use the compressor.
What was the cost for that?
The cost was bid out, I think $12,000 or something, but some of it had to go to Ameren to put in, and to also to the contractor to put the 3-phase system in.
The total contract amount is $17,485.60.
Do you have any questions for council? Councilman Mosley?
Do we have $17,000? City manager?
Well, do we have money? No.
No, 17,000.
So the money exists in the budget,
Okay.
in the line item. Do we have physical money or capital? Yes, in our reserves that we're spending to keep the lights on. But I've been told to be very careful about the question, do we have money? Because the answer is it would be reserved for pensions. So, but this is something that we desperately need, because as the fire chief will explain, I mean, their air tanks are there, so it's for safety purposes.
I don't have a problem with that. I just want to know, do we have 17,000 to pay for that?
It
Because
exists.
I think Ms. Hampton asked that question, and he said 14, you said 17. I just want to know, do we have the money?
It exists in the line item in the budget.
Okay.
Do we have any further questions from council? Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll? Oh, we don't have a motion. Is there a motion to approve item 5A?
Yes.
It's been moved by Councilman Mosley. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Councilwoman Dean. Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Mosley,
Yes.
Councilman Dean,
Yes.
Mayor Hicks,
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 nay.
Motion passes. I assume we'll deal with the other legislation since it's an amendment and we need 4 votes.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Item 6, presentation of correspondence and memorandum. We don't have any. Item 7, do we have any old business under public safety this time? Any new business under public safety? Citizens' comments, Mr. Brandon Walls.
Yes, I did have a question, however, the matter is being addressed, so I apologize.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the public safety committee meeting.
Second.
Been moved by myself, seconded by Councilman Mosley. Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Mosley,
Yes.
Councilman Dean,
Yes.
Take mine. I got it.
Yes.
3 ayes, 1 no.
Meeting is adjourned. We will, Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll for the community development committee meeting?
Councilman Mosley,
Present.
Councilman Dean,
Present.
Councilman Easter, Councilman Easter, Councilman Greenwood, Councilman Greenwood, we have 6.
Present.
We have 3 present, 2 absent.
Item 2, presentation of the minutes from the meeting held on Thursday, October 6, 2016. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Mosley,
Yes.
Councilman Dean,
Yes.
Mayor Hicks,
Yes.
3 ayes, no nays.
Motion passes. Items 3A is the monthly report from the Employee Services Department, and item 3B is the monthly report from the TIF Department. I'd like to make a motion to receive items 3A and 3B.
Second.
Do we have any questions? Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Mosley,
Yes.
Councilman Dean,
Yes.
Mayor Hicks,
Yes.
3 ayes, no nays.
Motion passes. Presentation of subcommittee reports, we don't have any. Item 5, presentation of ordinances and resolutions, we don't have any.
Mayor, I'd like to add,
Oh, yes, that one, I
Thank you.
forgot.
Can we please add as 5A, an ordinance of the city of East St. Louis authorizing and improving properties eligible for the year 2016 citywide rehabilitation program? And can we add as 5B, an ordinance of the city of East St. Louis authorizing and improving properties eligible for the year 2016 50/50 citywide rehabilitation program? I'd like Tina Phillips to come up and talk about these two pieces of legislation.
So we're gonna add that as 5A. Is there a motion to add this piece of legislation as 5A?
I'm good on it.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Dean, seconded by
I second.
Councilman Mosley. Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Mosley,
Yes.
Councilman Dean,
Yes.
Mayor Hicks,
Yes.
3 ayes, 1 nay.
Motion passes. This time we're gonna ask Ms. Phillips to come forward to expound on this piece of legislation.
Mayor, council, and citizens. The first piece is for the vacant and abandoned program, which is a program we started this year to assist property owners with properties that they have that are currently vacant. We will give them up to $12,000 to make rehab to those programs. We won't pay the full amount, so we go through the process, we do the scope of work, and then they get bids on it, and from there we determine how much they have. So far, we only have one applicant that's completed the process, so that's this piece of legislation for an address that is in TIF District 3A, 818 North 79th Street. That's the only district that we currently have money for the program.
Where's that again?
818 North 79th, I apologize. And their total project cost is $10,000, we're gonna do $7,000, the owner has to put in $3,000. This one is not a 50/50 match, we just determine based on the amount of their total project, how much we can put in to help them complete it. Our money won't go into the end, they have to spend their money first.
Do we have any questions from council?
No, thank you.
And the next one is the 50/50 rehab program. This is a program that we've had for years. We didn't have it the last 2 years. We started it back this year. And this is for owner-occupied structures. So if they own the house, live in it, their taxes are current, they have homeowners insurance, and they can pay half of the cost, we match them the other half of the cost. So currently, we have 3 applications that are complete. that one is in District 1 and 2 are in TIF District 3A, that have all met the qualifications to go through the program. And they've shown that they have their 50% match. If they'll pay to the contractor prior to us paying anything, we'll inspect it all the way through, and then we pay the contractor at the end.
Who does the inspections?
Regulatory affairs will send someone out to do the inspections, and our construction manager will also be monitoring the project.
Do we have any further questions? from
Yes,
Council-
Mayor.
Councilman Mosley?
How much do the owner have to pay?
Half of whatever their total project is. So we have 3 projects. One of them is 12,000, so they'll pay 6,000 and the city will pay 6,000. The other one is 6,800, so they're responsible for half of it, which is 3,400, and we'll pay the other 3,400. And the last one is 19,500, so they'll pay $9,750.
So it's wiped clean after you pay or down a certain amount of time, it's wiped clean.
They stay in the house for 3 years, maintain their taxes and insurance, and then we remove our lien that we place on the property.
Thank you. That's good. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, we need to add this piece of legislation on, for some reason I missed it, so we have 5A. I'd like to make a motion to add the 50/50 citywide rehabilitation program as item 5B.
Second.
Do we have any questions? Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Mosley,
Yes?
Councilman Dean,
Yes.
Mayor Hicks,
Yes.
3 ayes and 1 nay.
Motion approved. This time, I'd like to make a motion to approve items 5A and 5B.
Second.
Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Mosley,
Yes?
Councilman Dean,
Yes.
Mayor Hicks,
Yes.
3 ayes, no nays.
Motion passes. Item 6, presentation of correspondence and memorandum, we don't have any. Item 7, under old business, I'd like to address, council has come to my attention that there was a business that went through the planning commission. There was a fish market, or something of that sort, that went through the planning commission. It was the planning commission's recommendation that we not approve this business. That never did come to council. It has not come to council yet. We did not approve that. But it's my understanding that the gentleman is still in the process of building or putting a foundation down of some sort. And do you guys have the address to which this is happening? It's right here,
What?
26.
Yeah, it must be,
2633 Missouri Avenue.
21.
it has to be 2116 or 18.
Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna have to check into this to make sure that we don't have a business coming up that has not been approved. Furthermore, it hasn't even come before council.
My understanding is that we reviewed it internally, and it was our assessment that we agree with the planning commission that the project should not move forward.
Exactly.
And that's the documentation I reviewed, and that's the documentation I signed, so we'll have regulatory affairs, go out and inspect and see kind of what's going on.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that we address this publicly, because I know what the recommendation of the planning commission was, and I knew what the recommendation of the economic development department as well as the planning department was per that particular, project. Councilman
When
Mosley.
we get through, no, when we get through, I'm sorry.
Okay. Under new business, we have a presentation from Mr. Treacle. Would you please come forward?
Handouts here are just a little bit of information. And, we've been talking for about a couple of months now about this tire shredding plant we'd like to put down on one of my properties down on 17th Street. And it's just a recycling business, it's a green business. It's not your traditional recycling. tyre business. Traditionally, they have tyres sitting up all around the place. We won't have anything like that. We'll put a new building up. Most of it will be inside and shredded and everything. And we'll process all the tyres that come in every day, so there'll be no tyres sitting around, which we fill up with water and have all those sorts of issues. And there's 2 or 3, 4 phases we can do. We're going to do the initial shredding, and then there's the next phase is to take the steel out of it, just to give you a rough idea of what we're going to do. And then you can shred it up into a crumb, and then you can do something else with the crumb. Now, we can sell these items all along the way, but the idea is to ultimately manufacture something. So we'll blend it with plastic and make OEM parts or aftermarket parts or something along those lines. That's the ideal end result. So we're going to spend probably around $3 million initially, and it'll go up from there, depending on a few things. But we've been slowed down a little bit just because of the process, and we've got lenders in place who wanted to get city approval, so we wanted to make sure that it's something that the city was happy with. And then we can move forward with that and give you more detail as we progress through it. But initially, we just needed the city's approval that it's something they want in their community. Some of the important things are we're going to try and, it's a semi-skilled work, so we're going to try to draw from within the community for most of the employees. Ideally, you get them locally so that we provide employment in the city.
About how many jobs?
15 to 17 initially, do the phase 1 and 2 like we want to do. So it's still fluid at the moment. We haven't got everything finalised exactly what we want to do with the volume and some of that stuff, but in the next few days we should have all that things put together. And with the testing approval, we can sort of move forward quicker and get more detail to you. Any questions?
I wanted Tina, because I know, and Mr. Trelo, I appreciate you coming tonight, because I wanted to make sure that this was presented before council, and also I know that you guys talked with the economic development as well as the planning commission. And the planning commission recommended, along with the economic development department, that this project move forward, which is what I really wanted to happen before we
Sure.
So I appreciate you coming here tonight. And I want to ask Tina, in order city manager, you want to add anything further to this?
The only thing that I would add is the first phase would just be the shredding of it and removing the steel, correct?
Well, there's a primary shred where you put the tires through and you shred them into like a 2-inch square or something like that. And then it'll go through another separate process where you remove the steel and it brings it down to like an inch by inch size. And then you can start selling the items. It can be like a mulch or lots of things you can use it for. But as you keep going through the process, you can get it smaller and smaller, and you can get to a crumb, and then you can blend that with plastics and manufacture stuff. So that's the ultimate.
But that's your phase 2, where you start blending it.
Phase 2 probably be the crumb. Phase 1 is just the primary, and it's going to take a couple $1 million for that. For the primary shred, you've got big shredders, you've got scales, you've got concrete, new building, and that sort of stuff.
Can you talk a little bit, there's a lot of citizens here, but there's also people going to be watching later on. I know we've had discussions, we've had meetings about the project. Can you just talk about pollution? How is it, what's the process, how is it shredded? I think people are going to be concerned when they hear a recycling plant or a shredding plant, they're going to be concerned about pollution, so can you?
Sure. There really should be no pollution because, well, there is no pollution because it's inert, it's rubber, so it's inert. And we'll have a quiet process, it'll be in a building, so probably and we're in an area where it's commercial anyway, commercially designated, and there's very little residential around us. And it's a high torque, low speed shredder, so it's doing 50 revolutions a minute or something, and it's just cuts it up into pieces, and you just sort of send it around. So there'll be some electric motors, but it shouldn't be very noisy. And like I was saying earlier, won't be the typical situation where you have piles and piles of tyres. We're going to process everything each day, so there'll be no tyres sitting around at the end of the day, which is a big thing because of the Zika virus and all these other mosquitoes and all these other issues. So noise, there shouldn't be any pollution, there shouldn't be any. We're going to put concrete down so we can deal with all this stuff. And the EPA have code, I guess, where you can't have too much of this stuff. You can't just have piles of shredded rubber. So, they have regulations where you only have like a 20 or a 30-foot section, 8 foot tall and 20 feet long. So, I mean, our idea is ultimately is to send the stuff out every day that comes in and just or process it down the road into crumb and do something with it. So there shouldn't be anything there won't be any piles of anything sitting around. There won't be any issues where fire is a big issue, and that's Jason's concern, I'm sure, because the EPA regulations take care of that and make sure that there's no serious issues, because black smoke and burning tyres are an issue. But like I said, we intend to process and move it out every day. That's our intention at this time.
Can you talk a little bit about proximity? I think that was one interesting thing when we were meeting. You kind of told me about where the closest plants were. Do this type of work, and you let the council know that.
Sure. There's, and I'm talking to this. The closest plants, there's one in Kansas City, one in Kentucky, Chicago, Indianapolis. So it's 200-300 miles away. So there's really, and there is a small one on the other side in Missouri there. But there was one a few years ago in Dupa that dealt with both sides of the river. So I mean, at the moment, people are trucking this stuff, hundreds of miles, and so we've talked to the EPA at length, and they agree with us that there's a need for it locally, and so we think that it'll be a good project for St. Louis.
Chief.
So how are you gonna get the tires in? People locally gonna be able to drop tires off, or are you gonna have someone to pick up dirty tires, or how does that work?
We got to work through that, but typically, when you change your tires, you pay a fee to whoever's changing the tires.
So disposal fee.
Disposal fee, that's correct. And so they'll pay us for a disposal fee, and we'll then process. I mean, it's like a good question, because we've got to, there's so many tires dumped in the local community, and I guess we've got to figure out some sort of program where we can take tires, small amounts, but I mean, there is a cost of processing, and I'm sure there's something could be worked out to sort of help in the community.
So basically, your receiving would just come from local tire company.
Essentially, and that's where they should come from in the first place, because they're getting new tires, and so they're paying a disposal fee.
And the shipping out of the rubber will be shipped out by whom?
I got my own trucks. Yeah, I have my own trucks, so we'll bring them in ourselves and take it out ourselves.
So if hypothetically, if a local company comes in and wants to do a football field, could they come in and get the rubber?
Absolutely. And just talking about that point.
You can answer. You can watch it on YouTube.
And talking about that point, I mean, if there's some fields in the community, I mean, we'd be well happy to donate some of this rubber for you guys. I mean, and there's many uses for this rubber. I mean, it's for like water runoff and culvert areas, so that you don't create erosion, and so there's lots of uses for all of this stuff when it's processed down and the wire got out. So, I mean, we work closely with the city for sure, in ways that we can help you guys.
Are you affiliated with the company now?
I'm sorry?
Are you affiliated with the company now? With the same name?
Company in
Ireland?
Ireland?
Yes.
No.
Tina, so you guys have already received the recommendation from the planning commission?
We have. We vetted it first, and then we forwarded it on to the planning commission with our recommendation. They've approved it with their recommendation, and I did not receive it because I'm having problems getting emails from Mixon, but I know it's come back because it came back to our liaison, Jackie Riley, from them.
Okay, so at this point, Mr. Treloar just needs a letter?
Yeah, just a letter of recommendation. I'm not asking for anything else. Just sort of an approval that you welcome the business in your area, and you do whatever you can to assist. If we need some letters or just assistance.
So I guess on next week, council,
Mayor, can I ask you a question?
yeah, go ahead, Councilman.
Where is this place gonna be located?
17th and Broadway, again, where the old pallet building was. It was Vernon White and had, I think, American Pallet Company.
This come on, I want to say something, I council, is cause, see to be interested. Eminem's tire in Cahokia, they have what he's talking about, but there's a portal. They cut the tires with salt. The machine comes down and cut the tires into little small pieces, like he's saying. Then they got a big old truck. The guy take them and throw them in there. When that truck fills up, whoever they sell them to or whoever they donate them to, they come and get it, bring another truck. M&M Tire has what they have, but they don't leave it on the outside because I guess somebody might take it or something like that. They push it back on the inside. It's got two rubber wheels on it. They push it right back in. It's a good thing, but they cut up the small pieces, and I guess they got a company they sell it to. But he's talking about something different because he's talking about a big old company. But M&M has, that's what he's talking about. They got a big old saw. The guy pulls it down and cuts the tire into however many pieces he wants and throw it on top of the truck. And they stay busy all day at M&M's Tire. And they might extra import them in and whatnot, but they have plenty of tires. They're on the outside. And yes, there's noise. Not a whole lot of noise, but it's noise. And it's in the residential neighborhood, but it's in the business section too, so it doesn't make a difference. So it works out fine for them. I'm pretty sure it'll work fine for us.
City Manager?
I think it's a great idea, especially with the tire problem we have in the city. So, you know, given that Mr. Trudeau is open to working with the city, I think it's timely, and I think it's a business that's welcome in the city, so, at least from my perspective.
So, what we will do is, since we don't have any formal, this is just a presentation, what we'll do is next week on the council, we'll take a vote, go ahead and send that letter. And
Mayor, I will provide council with the packet that we put together, the
Sure.
pictures of the current property and the location of where they're going to be.
Okay. And if council has any further questions that they need to be answered this week, I would encourage that you set up some meetings to make sure that all questions, and if there's any unreadiness, that is addressed so we can get the letter out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary, is that, we're not financing anything, are we?
No.
Mary, you told me I could say something?
Yes, sir.
And I want to just piggyback on, I'm so glad you brought that up. I really am, and I want to thank God first because I didn't know how to say it, I didn't want to say anything, but when the guy approached me last week about the fish market, he was telling me that he's going to put a fish market right next to Officer Funeral. I said, a fish market? He said, yeah, I own that property. I said, have you got approval? He said, yeah. I said, you didn't come across the council? He said, well, I got it. I said, okay. Now, I sent word to Bernadette and call. I had Miss Bailey send them a call, and they have returned my phone call. Yeah, I was asking them, was they aware that if a fish market was coming next to their place? Today, they pouring the concrete. They're gonna put the sewer in and all the stuff in. These folks is working. They coming up from the ground. I guess the residential, because there used to be businesses out there, the officer out there's business, but I just couldn't see officer there not saying nothing about a fish market. Nothing wrong with a fish market, don't get me wrong, but it has an order. And a funeral home is sitting here and all these years, and this empty land is sitting there. I didn't want to sit there because they gonna say, well, Roy stopped it. I haven't stopped nothing, but I'm just getting to it. But they gonna accuse me of it anyway, so it's okay. But you brought it, and I'm so glad you brought it, because I just been thinking, Miss Bear, you remember right, honey?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been on top of it, but I didn't know what to say. I don't want no fish boy next to my place, but maybe officer didn't blow mine. I don't know, but,
There were, Councilman, there were some steps that the planning commission required Mr. Fisher to go through. And they even offered to help him with a different location, is my understanding. And I guess apparently he didn't want to do that. And now we're hearing that he's pouring concrete, so we're gonna have to have that stopped because it was not approved. It has not come before council.
and let me tell you something else. He come to see me, because he wanted to buy the land next to it. I said, buy the land? He said, yeah. He said, the county owned it. I said, well, man, I can't help you. I said, it'll cost you some money to buy the land. He said, well, I'm ready to pay for it. I said, you can get the bid on it. He ready. So, I don't know. Thank you, honey. Thank you so much.
Under citizens' comments, we have Mr. Mixon.
Mayor, on the planning commission on that project, we respectfully declined it. The other one was the location of trying to find a proper venue to put the fish market. The other question was that the structure itself, that we recommended that it go before the regulatory affairs, because we questioned, it's more like an old military type Quonset hut. So we questioned if that met the city guidelines of an approved building and everything. And yes, we're aware that they've gone ahead and started building and everything.
I was not, and I just want to say to the planning commission that I was not aware until Ms. Baxter made me aware this evening that was actually going on. So thank you for letting me know. Yeah. So we will address that.
And I don't know if they got any, what type of building permits they've gotten from regulatory affairs, but we'll dig into it tomorrow.
All right. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the community.
Second. Oh,
Yes, I'm sorry. I did forget. I apologize. Tonight, we're gonna have Mr. Mixon come forward to discuss the changes and amendments that were made to the bylaws for the planning commission. Thank you for reminding me.
Thank you. Good evening. Mayor, City Council, what we're asking is that the City Council approve our amended bylaws. The primary change in our bylaws is that we, on the last page, that we've reduced absenteeism down to 3. Based on the fact that it used to be that we met twice a month, now we're down to once a month. And with that, then we would like to, that's the only change. Our bylaws are set up basically to set forth an operating guideline of the city planning commission. It does not circumvent any other ordinances or the city council guidelines of how we operate. Any questions?
Do we have any questions from council? Thank you, Mr. Mitchell, for bringing this. We will, what do you want to do? Pass it to the council?
Well, I guess, you want to add it to the agenda tonight, or you want to add it to
Yeah, I need to review it, just make sure it's okay. If that's the only change, I see no issues with it, so.
Okay, so we're gonna have the attorney review it. We'll bring it from, we'll have it
We'll get on the agenda for next week.
for council. Thank you so much for coming. And also, I want to take the time out to thank the planning commission for the awesome work that they are doing. They're doing a very, very good job. We do have a few seats that we need to replace. We wanted you to know that we do know that we're on top of that. That's it. Any comments, any further questions? At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the community development meeting. Second. Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Mosley?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Mayor Hicks?
Yes,
3 ayes, 1 nay.
meeting adjourned.
Good luck.